All right, everyone, welcome back once again to this Beefcast production. I am your casting host, Beef. Thank you for watching. We are back once again at Assembly Winter 2012, the finals in this best of 5 series. ZVT tied up 1-1. At the bottom left-hand position, well, not even really the bottom left, the 8 o'clock position, we do have the Red Zerg, the pride of France, the ace of Team Millennium, and an honorary American. He is mil.Stephano. And at the bottom right, we do have the champion of the GSL Super Tournament in 2011 and a very, very strong Korean Terran, extremely successful at foreign events. He is TSL.Polt. And so we are here on GSL Metalopolis. We've already encountered GSL Daybreak and GSL Antigua Shipyard. On Metalopolis here, we do have no gold spawns once again. The Zerg is going to be scouting very quickly with his Overlord, going to see the close by air positions that he is in, something that's less than favorable for the Zerg. This is what many would consider to be a Zerg favored map, especially with no gold anymore. That was the one advantage that the Terran might have been able to take, but here in close by air position, this is probably the least favorable position for the Zerg. Close by ground is an option that is not available on ladder, so I assume that it's not available on Daybreak, so it's either cross or close by air. And cross would be much better for the Zerg. Reason for that being that the drop distance between these two locations is very, very small. If you have a starport right here, medevacs come out and 8 seconds later they're in the Zerg's base. The Zerg does not have very much time to react whatsoever if his units are, out here looking for an opportunity to get into the base. But let's take a look here and see what kind of builds we do have opening with. We do have a 2-Rax coming out of Polt. And did Stephano scout it? Stephano did not see it, even though he was in the base, but he also did not see gas. And as a result, I would think that he would think that there's probably a possibility that there could be, and he did just get in there and see no gas again. So he's going to know that there is a double Rax coming right now, or a gasless fast expansion, which is not typical in this matchup. But with this 2-Rax, with this Maka-Rax as we call, they do build it in a location where they can often lift it down to the lower ground. It's going to lower the rally distance of those Marines by quite a bit, and he's going to be able to get quite a few Marines over there very quickly. Stephano is going to see the production of this bunker start. He's going to pull a total of 4 drones at this point to try to get over there and deal some damage to that SCV. Hopefully there's another SCV coming, which there is, and this SCV will likely get cleaned up. There's not going to be any mineral walking to get out of there right now, but Stephano is not taking this lightly. He's pulling so many drones. It looks like about a total of 12 drones that he's pulled right now, leaving only 5 on the mineral patches. But this is what you have to do against a 2-Rax. You have to take out that bunker, make sure that's not going to come up, and then you have to build a lot of Zerglings. Now that these Zerglings are out, Stephano will be in a pretty good position. The Terran player will likely retreat. Dropping that bunker once again is probably not going to help. The Marines are going to get into a favorable position back there and minimize the surface area so that only one of those Marines will be able to get attacked at first. He's probably going to have to wait for this Queen to get over there. It does a nice job of picking off that SCV, so that bunker's not going to finish just yet. No more SCVs being rallied currently. One more SCV going to make its way over here, but now that that Queen is out, the Queen's going to be able to provide the fire necessary to try to get those Marines into the area where the Zerglings can clean them up. Zerglings are essentially going to be there to tank the damage, but with this Marine here on the high ground, the Queen's not going to be able to get into the high ground position. An excellent positioning by Polt here. Takes out the SCV once again by Stephano, but this Marine on the high ground is doing an excellent job here. And this is going to get cleaned up by Stephano, but he has taken a pretty large amount of damage. Not so much in terms of drones, but what we like to call indirect damage. Because he's had to make so many Zerglings, each one of these Zerglings could have been drones. Every 2 of these Zerglings could have been drones. It's money that he doesn't want to have to waste on Zerglings, and he wants to have those as drones. So that's what we like to call indirect economic damage. Marines are still going to be rallying across right now, and unless Stephano has a little bit more careful army control, he might even continue losing Marines right here. This is going to be enough that he should be able to clean this up. A nice target firing by Polt, going to be stutter step microing backward and backward again, and getting into a nice position, but it's not going to happen. This Maka-Rax is going to be lifted off, brought back into the base. Behind this, 2-Rax and a command center have been dropped, but for Stephano, he's finally able to take his first gas. This is what I'm talking about, indirect damage. He is at 18 drones to the 22 SCVs. of our Terran player. The Terran player has dropped an expansion, going to be morphing that into an orbital command right now, and the Terran player is not in any danger. There's no gas from Stephano. He can't do a Baneling Nest, and the Terran player, Polt, has put himself into an excellent lead at this point. Behind this, Stephano is going to be doing nothing but droning up at this point. He really, really needs to catch back up on his economy. Just starting to mine gas right now, so he'll be able to get speed out started in about a minute and 10 seconds. One Zergling does manage to get in there after taking down the supply depot. A little bit sloppy there from Polt, not able to repair that up. He shouldn't have lost that, and really unfortunate because the Zergling manages to scout everything. He sees the 4 racks total. He sees the second orbital, and most importantly, he doesn't see anything like a factory. He doesn't see a starport. So Stephano no longer has to be worried about something like early medevacs. He no longer has to be worried about something like Banshee, especially of the cloak variety, or even something like a Blue Flame Hellion drop. So he's able to very safely drone up from here, make sure that he's going to be able to protect himself from all of these Marines, and he's going to be doing that by spreading his creep very, very aggressively. The more creep that you have, the more vision that you have, and the less likely that the Terran is going to be attacking you on that creep. Now, off of those 4 racks, Polt is going to be still producing quite a few Marines, and he's going to be taking map control right here with the Selnaga Tower. Going to be containing Stephano, doesn't want to let him near his base. And back home, we do see the factory finally coming down. The second base, the natural, has already been taken and is being fortified with bunkers and supply depots. Zerglings are going to try to circle around, follow their waypoint, and the waypoint had to be adjusted because he clicked wrong right there. But he's going to be coming all the way around and checking the third. Very smart right there to check the third. With the Terran being in such an economic lead, you have to make sure that that third is not being taken. Baneling Nest over here at the furthest point from the Marines. Very, very crucial right there. That if the Marines were to walk up, the Zerglings would intercept right here with the Spine Crawler right there, and they would not likely see that Baneling Nest because they're either going to cut into the base or they're going to fight right there. And so the Baneling Nest is going to be morphing in addition to speed, and this is going to be a huge Baneling bust. This is probably Stephano's best bet at this point. He's so far behind economically that he needs to be able to do a ton of damage with a Baneling bust, and this might even just be a Baneling defense, honestly. He knows that there's going to be nothing but Marines coming out. These Marines do have combat shield already, but with a couple of Banelings, it looks like Stephano should be able to clean this up unless there's brilliant target firing by Polt, which there's always the possibility of. Polt's fantastic player. Look at that. Beautiful target firing. But Polt is still going to get cleaned up by these Marines, but being in a beautiful position right there, minimizing the surface area that the Lings are able to get. And look at that, a small number of Marines able to take out a huge number of Zerglings. But behind this, there's the Baneling bust. We do have those Zerglings that did come around the back, and in total, we do have another, oh my gosh, we have, 12, 13 Banelings morphing in addition to the 8 Banelings that were already created. And at this point, we do have our Terran player saying, oh crap, there's a lot of stuff here being busted from 2 different angles. That bunker will be falling, and the SCV is going to be able to get out of there, but the ramp is not raised, and our Terran player is in a lot of trouble right now. Baneling's going to be making their way into the mineral line, and so many kills on those workers. Let's see if I can bring this tab up for you. It looks like 15 kills on the workers so far. Supply depot is going to fall, but as medevacs come out, I think that our Terran player will likely be able to stabilize. Beautiful job splitting up the SCVs as best as he possibly can right now. Wants to be able to not take as many losses as possible, and I think he probably should have just killed a couple more SCVs at that point, rather than losing those SCVs. Or losing those Banelings without getting some SCVs. I would have rather seen him take 2, but not a huge deal. Stim is going to be finishing relatively soon, and there's going to be a strong counter push by our Terran player right now. The third is coming out from Stephano at this point, along with double evolution chamber. Going to be transitioning, as usual, into that Stephano style, taking his macro hatch, going to be heavily Ling-based with heavy upgrades. I like this line right here. It's like an early defense system against drops. Not just 1 overlord, not just 2, but 5 overlords. Going to be able to, even a 6th one down here in case he went all the way down. But our Terran player is going to be moving out. Now let's take a look at the army composition. We do have 5 Marauders, 14 Marines, and 2 medevacs against the 9 Zerglings and 4 Banelings. Stephano needs to be making a lot more Zerglings, and as he steps onto that creep, Stephano's going to say, oh crap, I see exactly what you have. I need to make a lot more stuff right now. And he's completely out of larva at this point, though. Being on Zergling Baneling, he does have not enough larva, And the Banelings are going to be getting in there, but the Marauder's doing a very good job of tanking right now, being able to take out that Spine Crawler, and the Banelings wisely moving back. Banelings are not effective against Marauders whatsoever, but now that he does have enough Zerglings right here, this force will likely die unless there's a big pickup and down. But beautiful job by the Marauders of tanking as much as they can, blocking the paths of the Banelings. But once again, nice pickup by Polt, able to get out of there with about half of the force that he went into it with, and overall not bad. Forced a lot of Zerglings. I think he killed a queen. Yeah, he killed one queen, almost killed a second one, forced a lot of Zerglings, a lot of Banelings. When you're going into this Infestor style, you do not want to be having to build as many Banelings as Stephano is building. You need that gas for your Infestors, you need that gas for your upgrades. This Ling is going to go ahead and get across right now and be able to scout out that there is no third. Well, a different Ling scouting that there is no third. But Zergling's going to be able to pick off a couple more units here, wisely dropping and healing units back up again. A couple more medevacs and a large bio ball. 6 Marauders and about 15 more Marines going to be joining in. It's actually 13 Marines. And tanks are going to be on their way. Siege Tank Research has finished, but they're not going to be in time. Big Zerglings around right there on the Marauders, but no concussive shell means these Banelings are going to be walking right into the Marines. But beautiful splitting by those Marines. The Banelings don't even want to detonate on just a couple of Marines. That is a waste right there. This Siege Tank needs to siege up, but he wants to get to this high ground position right there. That is the money position for Zerglings. They're going to be taking damage in this entire radius. So that's where you want to be. Zergling's going to be chasing these medevacs around, seeing what they can do. And look at that. These Marines are even going to be doing damage. Just 3 of them against all those Zerglings. Zergling's going to walk right into that fire right there. Look at that money position. Able to take out quite a few Lings. 1, and then get the rest of those into the red. Beautiful job by Polt. Third has been saturated. Speed for Banelings has started in addition to 1-1. And I don't believe that we've seen Infestor yet. Yeah, no Infestation Pit at this time. So he's going to be going purely with Ling and Baneling right now. Whereas our Terran player has gone ahead and he has started an engineering bay. So I would like to see +1 getting started very soon here. No third command center that I've been able to spot just yet, so Polt's going to be committed to a 2 base for right now. +1 does start, in addition to another tank. Should bring his tank total to 2 or maybe even 3. 2 for right now. And we do see a siege up going to be starting here, going to be sieging on the low ground while elevating onto the high ground. This is a very effective tactic on a map like this. These Marines are going to be able to get in there, do some damage, probably snipe something like a queen, and then fall back to the tanks that are in a pretty invulnerable position from the low ground. But look at this, there's a big flank coming in here from behind. Zergling's going to be able to crash right onto those tanks. Banelings on the high ground being able to do a very good job, and on the low ground, it does look like the tanks are going to survive. Excellent job by Polt. Very nice management. Managed to take out one of these queens. Going to continue elevating the rest of his Marines up here right now, while a couple more Marines reinforce the bottom. And the big problem from the Zerg right now is that the medevac count is going to continue to grow. Right now sitting at 5, and as long as that medevac count is high, bio is going to be extremely effective. Zergling's going to come in here and clean up one of these tanks, 2 of these tanks, it looks like. Nope, not even able to get the second tank, and I think that with Baneling speed coming, these Marines are going to be forced to move back, but Stephano just does not have enough units right now. He's floating quite a bit of minerals, but he doesn't have the larva. Losing those queens, he doesn't have the larva to make use of it with only being able to produce Zerglings. He needed an infestation pit down at this point, and I'm a little bit curious why he hasn't dropped one yet. Marine's going to be able to take out the macro hatch right there, a absolutely huge blow in addition to killing those queens. After killing a queen and a macro hatch, the larva production is just not going to be sufficient enough to deal with just trying to have a Zergling-based army. So Stephano is in a pretty big way right now. Second factory going to be starting back home. And we do see that that will most likely be for Siege Tank production. Zergling's going to be running right by here, trying to get a good surround on the Siege Tank. Beautiful positioning, minimizing surface area. Going to be able to take out all the Siege Tanks there. And 1 Siege Tank left in the back, but the Bio Army is still gigantic at this point. With a total of 5 medevacs here, 2 more medevacs going to be coming up, in addition to another Siege Tank. Stephano is in a very, very bad way at this point. Marine's going to be coming up, blocking the choke, going to be able to finish off these Zerglings, Queens, and maybe even get those Banelings before they finish morphing. And actually going to be able to clean up those Marines with the Zerglings was Stephano, but forcing a lot of time off of mining here. With those Queens dead, he's down to just 1 Queen. Yeah, 1 Queen over here, and the other Queen was right there. Very low. Manages to pick off a medevac. Nice job there. That's important for the Zerg player to do, and very difficult because of Zerg's lack of anti-air at the early game level. We do see SCVs going to start rallying up here. They're going to be moving this orbital command out there. Was that the orbital command from the main? Yes, it was. Not even dropping a third. Going to be very boldly using an orbital command there instead of a planetary fortress. Over here at the 11 o'clock position, Stephano has taken a fourth, and he will start to transfer SCVs, or excuse me, drones over there when he does have them. But at this point, he's still got a siege up on his main, and he needs to be devoting everything that he has into Zerglings. Like I said, he has this large supply of minerals and even a decent supply of gas, but he's not able to spend it. He doesn't have the larva. If we look right now, he's only at 4 larvae, not what you want to have if you're playing a Zergling-based army. Doesn't even have a macro hatch at this point. Like I said, it had been killed, never rebuilt. And we'll see how this goes. These lings are 2-2, and the banelings do have speed, so this is the best possible situation for being on lair tech that you could have from this planeling-based composition army, but the lings do crash in here. You're going to be able to get pretty good surrounds right here, but nice target fire onto those banelings, and siege tanks are going to be dying, but there's still 2 siege tanks left and enough medevacs that each marine practically has their own medevac. Zergling's going to be instead opting for a counter right here with the Zergling on this Zelnaga tower. He does spot that there is an undefended orbital command right there, and these Zerglings are going to be able to wreak absolute havoc onto the SCVs, and this will probably actually cause the siege of this base to finally end. The siege has been going on for like 8 minutes or something like that, but with that Zergling run by, very good job of being able to take out as many SCVs as he can and buy himself the time that he needs. Marines are going to be still in here in the main, but with that pickup, only losing 1 Marine, and very nice defense from our Zerg player. That's probably the best situation that you could have hoped for right there with that Zergling run by, but lifting up a siege tank onto the main right here, the main is going to come under fire very quickly. With just 1 more siege tank, he's going to be able to inch onto that lair, but we do see 38 more Zerglings in production. Supplies dead even at this point. And let's take a look at mining, if I can remember my button, which I can't, so we're just going to go ahead and take a look at that. Income for our Terran player is actually a lot lower than our Zerg player at this point. Reason for that being that Stephano is going to be mining off a total of 3 bases right now, whereas Polt is only mining off of 1 base, effectively. There's still 6 mineral patches left right there, but because of mules do mine out those mineral patches a lot faster, and it's a big deal. Not choosing his mule targets quite perfectly, and once again these Zerglings are going to be making it in there, being able to take out the mules. That's very important, but the siege continues on the main base over here. Zergling's going to be walking into these Marines, but there are so many medevacs and these tanks in the background being able to do so much damage. Banelings coming in, but managed not to connect on anything more than a couple of Marines. And Zergling's going to be trying to get in there once again to try to finish it off, but not able to really get those Marines down. All of these medevacs are pretty much out of energy. Only the 2 brand new ones have any energy left. Marines going to be able to make their way back up again, being able to take out that evolution chamber, but that's about it. The only thing that they're left up here is the spawning pool, and Stephano needs to defend that spawning pool. If he loses it, he loses all of his production. Beautiful position by the Marines here, going to be able to get their backs to these mineral patches, minimizing surface area, maximizing their efficiency against these Marines, and lifting up there, not losing any Marines. Very nice job from Polt. 2-2 is going to be finishing for the Marines here any second. With this Queen standing off creep, what is this Queen doing? That was not intentional whatsoever. The tanks are going to be taking quite a bit of fire down here from the Zerglings, but not properly focus firing, and I think that's probably curtains for Stephano at this point. He's down to just 57 supply, and I think out of all of that, 38 of that is drones, so down to not a whole lot. 19 army worth of supply, 19 supply worth of army, and of that, 3 of that was Queens. Zergling's going to be running again, once again, into this third at the old gold base. Sorry about that. And not even forcing a liftoff here. So Stephano trying to do anything that he can, but he's very broke right now. These bases are coming under fire from all these different units. Still, these siege tank positions are absolutely beautiful, with 1 siege tank just covering another one all the time. Siege lines have just been absolutely perfect. Baneling nest and spawning pool being produced at a different location right now. Going to be up here at the third, but that will be the next target for our Terran player. Going to be dropping a scan, try to clear up any creep tumors, but there's really no creep tumors left at this point. Drone's going to be taking a break and moving on over to the next hatchery. These new buildings that were just produced managed to get him 28 Zerglings out on the field, but then they will be immediately destroyed. No Banlings will be morphed from that, and a large amount of those Zerglings will be coming here. And actually, pretty good Banling hits. Managed to clean up all but 3 of those Marines. I don't think that's what Stephano needed to get him back into this game, but that was nice nonetheless. And so we do see a couple of Marines making their way over here, going to check and see, hey, what's going on over here? And he sees that there is long-distance mining going on over here. So he's like, I'm probably in a pretty good position at this point, but I need to be very careful nonetheless. Very nice job from our Terran player here defending this run by once again. And the game comes to a close with a whop from Stephano. Very interesting way. Not exactly a GG, but I guess it's got the same connotation. So Polt ends up taking game number 2 in this best of 5 series. So we will be continuing on here in, excuse me, this is game number 3. So Polt takes the lead 2-1 in this best of 5 series, and we will be moving on to game 4. Once again, I've been your casting host, Beef. Please make sure to comment on this video. Help me become a better caster so that I can provide you guys with better casts. Help me to help you. We all want to have fun here. I'm doing this for fun. You're watching these because you want to have fun. You're interested in it. I want to do the best that I can. Please comment, like, subscribe, and tune back in next time. Thanks for watching.